Well, my hopes for this country are this: is I think we can all agree that right now, our country is in a state of uncertainty. There's a lot of interesting things going on around the country that are impacting us. The gun violence issues; those are very important to me right now. It's sad, but I have a lot of hope because of all of you. And I don't know if any of you attended the event down in Courthouse Square, but you, meaning youth, are speaking up. You're speaking up, but not only are you speaking up, you're being listened to across the country, not just here in Santa Rosa. Across the country, our youth, from my perspective, have put us, the adults, to shame, because we have been trying to make change for a long time, and we have been unsuccessful. You have stepped up and said enough, because it impacts you, and you're making the change. It is because of youth that laws were changed at a fast pace in Florida after the last shooting. They weren't perfect changes, but there were changes nonetheless. And that was because youth are speaking up. It is youth that are upsetting the NRA, the National Rifle Association, because of the things that they're doing. They're calling you puppets, they're calling you other things, right? And good for them, because they're afraid of you, because you're making the change happen, and the country is listening. And I know that you're not going to give up, because they also realize that all of you that are speaking up, especially those that are in high school, they also know that they're going to be voting pretty soon. And so will you. And know this, when you turn 16, you can pre-register to vote. So that'll get you ready, okay? So don't forget that. So you are now making a big impact. So as far as the future for me, it looks good because of the youth. And I think a lot of that has to do with not just who you are, but also how you've been supported to have a voice. Nobody's telling you, hey, be quiet. Shut up. Nobody wants to. It was the old days. Children should be seen and not heard, kind of a thing, right? I don't know if you ever heard of that. But no, you have a voice and you're using it, and I want you to continue to use it. And even locally, it's use it, but use it in partnership with your school administration. Keep them in the loop, and think about the activities that you can do to make change, whether it's having contests or essays. There's so many things that youth can do, to writing letters to the editor. There's a lot of things that you can do to make that change. But there's a lot of uncertainty. But we have done a lot of good things in Santa Rosa, Sonoma County, and the state, especially as it relates to sanctuary cities, to protect people. There's a lot of our community members who don't feel safe, and they need to feel safe. They need to be able to go to school, get medical attention, have the same opportunities as anybody else. So for me, even though we're in a big state of uncertainty right now, the future for me looks good, and I want it to be good, especially for my grandkids. So I think, and you guys are energizing. You're getting the rest of you, the adults, now to wake up and to stand beside you, to support your efforts and to do it together. My parents weren't excited about me being a police officer. They were worried about they were more worried about the dangers of being a police officer, based on what they knew and what they saw. But they supported it, and because, but I also filtered what I shared with them, right? I didn't tell them everything that I did. If I was involved in something that was very dangerous, I wasn't going to tell my mama. Man, I don't want her to worry, yeah. So, but they were supportive, and now, as a police officer, your children grow into that family, so they learn it. But my wife has been very supportive. But getting into elected office, when you get into elected office, it's not just you getting into elected office, your whole family is. Because when you campaign and you're out in the community, and sometimes I may make a decision on the city council that is not very popular. And some people will get angry and they will say things, and maybe some things will happen in the newspaper. So that impacts your family. Imagine you reading something bad about your parents or something negative about your parents in a newspaper, right? So it's always having to prepare them to say, look, you're going to hear things, even during the campaign, because when you're campaigning, you've seen campaigns probably where things are said, right? So they have to be supportive of you doing that too, because they're in it. My wife is in it. My kids are in it. So you have to have that support before you say, yes, I'm going to do this. Because if they say, nah, I'm not comfortable with you doing this, then I wouldn't do it. So I have to have that support all the time. And you always have to balance things. Like I have to balance my involvement with my council work. I have to balance that with my family. I have to balance it with my personal time. I have to balance it with my campaign now. So you're always kind of trying to balance it. And when you balance things, it's not always equal like this much. It's because sometimes one part of it needs more attention than the other, right? So you have to make some shifts and adjustments to make that happen. I hope that I've shared with you through my own story, and I hope that some of the things I talked about today resonate with you. You may have your own examples of that at home, whether it's that struggle about home and school and community, right? It's all one, and really it's to be proud of who you are. Especially well, I think we have a very diverse room here. This is big in Sonoma County and in America. We're changing the face of America, and all of you have the ability to. And I know you all dream. And my dreams as a kid, when I was on my hands and knees picking prunes, my dream was when I got older, I wasn't going to be doing that anymore. I was going to be that guy driving the truck taking the prunes to the plant. That's how high I was dreaming. I wasn't dreaming any higher than that. I wanted that cushy job sitting in that truck with the windows down because it didn't have air conditioning. But you can dream beyond that. I think really, and if you think about my life growing up, where we really did not have a lot of opportunities available to us, I guess looking back, I couldn't really afford to pass any up when you have so few. So you need to look for those opportunities. And I think what's really great for you now is that you have such a broad and strong support network with your school, your teachers, volunteers to come on campus. There are so many others in our community that support us that want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. I want one of you here to be a future chief of police in Santa Rosa, to be the mayor, to be the sheriff. Whatever your dreams are, it's following that. But it really has to do with believing in yourself that you can do it. And like I said, I struggled as a young kid, grade-wise, but it didn't stop me. And I didn't finish my college education until I was ready to retire from the police department after putting my own daughters through college. I said, I need to do it for me too. And so I went back to school to get my degree. So there are so many opportunities for you, and I encourage you not to pass them up.
My name is Boshesh Festo.
Hi, my name is Brian Reese.
Hi, my name is Helena Garcia.
Hi, my name is Karen Solano.